In this video, I'm going to talk about 5 mistakes to avoid when going for your manual driving test. Now, some of these mistakes, they can be minor errors. Some of them can be major errors. The first mistake is rolling back quite a bit when you are moving off. So, for example here, if I go into first gear, then I release the handbrake, the car is on a little bit of an incline. If you roll back quite a bit, like this much when you're trying to move off, that is a major driving error. If you roll back just a little bit, it's a minor driving error. So if, for example, if you roll back like this much, it's okay. But if you roll back quite a bit, it's gonna be a major driving error. So when you're moving off, it's important to make sure that the car doesn't roll back. There are 2 ways to do this. One option is to get to the biting point quickly, and the other option is to use the handbrake and then get to the biting point. So, for example, here, if I need to move off, I can either check, indicate, shoulder check, accelerate, biting point, hold the clutch, and then I move. Or the other option is to stop, use the handbrake if you're not comfortable with getting the biting point quickly. So for example here, accelerate, biting point, mirrors, look around, handbrake off once I get the biting point, and then the car is gonna start moving. The second mistake to avoid is riding the clutch. Sometimes riding the clutch and clutch coasting, they're kind of like almost the same thing. Clutch coasting means keeping the clutch down while the car is moving for too long. So riding the clutch for 3 to 5 seconds usually is a minor error, but if you ride the clutch for like 7 seconds, for example, that's gonna be a major driving error. So for example here, let's say I wanna move off, I move, shoulder check, and then I move, but I keep the clutch in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm still holding the clutch in. The clutch is still sitting in. This is a fail in the driving test. You have to make sure that when you are moving, you need to get the clutch off. So here I'm gonna turn. So for example, let's say we wanna go left, then I'm turning, push the clutch in for no reason. I'm going around the corner with the clutch sitting in. That is a fail in the driving test. If you hold in the clutch for too long, you're gonna fail the driving test. You need to make sure that after changing gears, you need to release the clutch. You can't keep the clutch in for more than 3 seconds. Well, after 3 seconds, you need to release the clutch. So for example here at this intersection, let's say I'm going to turn right, and let's say I'm gonna stop. Let's pretend there is like a stop sign there. So I'm gonna check my mirror, indicate. I'm gonna brake, come 2 seconds before stopping, I clutch in. So you don't wanna clutch in back there. You have to clutch in maybe around 2 seconds before stopping. Then I'm gonna look. No one coming, accelerate, biting point. Then I turn, change gear, release the clutch. If you change gear, you need to release the clutch. Sometimes people will change gear like this, and then they'll take too long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you release the clutch. That is riding the clutch as well. After you change gears, you need to release the clutch within about 2-3 seconds. Now there is one exception when you can actually clutch coast or ride the clutch. When you are doing like maneuvers, for example here, if I need to turn around the car, I can kind of like keep the clutch in, because if I release it, sometimes the car might go too fast. So you're allowed to do things like this. It's called clutch control. So here, reverse, you don't need to release the clutch all the way here, you can clutch control. That's allowed. But when you are moving, you are turning left, you're turning right, you're just driving in traffic, you need to make sure that you release the clutch. So here, After 1, 2, 3, and then release the clutch. And then let's say I want to turn left here. So coming to a turn, sometimes people come here and then they clutch in about here too early. You need to wait and clutch in maybe here if you need to stop. If you don't need to stop, you actually don't even need the clutch. You just put the car in second, and that's enough. The next mistake to avoid on your driving test is releasing the clutch too quickly. So for example, here if I want to go to 3 and then I do something like this, that's a bit jerky. You're gonna get marked down if you release the clutch too quickly. So if going to second, then I drop the clutch, that is not smooth. So you need to make sure that when you change in gear, you need to know how to release the clutch. And then sometime people, they will be driving like here and maybe they are planning to stop, and then what they do is they put the car in neutral like this. That is the same as riding the clutch. If you put the car in neutral while the car is moving, it's the same as riding the clutch, and you can actually fail the driving test if you keep it in neutral for like quite a long time. I think it's about 5 to 7 seconds. You need to make sure that when you're driving and the car is moving forwards, the car needs to be in gear. If you put it in neutral, you risk failing the test. The next mistake to avoid on your driving test when driving a manual car is using the wrong gear for the speed. So for example, let me go to second here and I accelerate, I'm doing 40 kilometers per hour, I keep the car in second for a long time for no reason, you're gonna get marked down on your driving test. Or maybe sometime people will be coming here to turn left and you leaving the car in third gear to turn left. That is not safe, because if I accelerate here, I've lost power now, and then I'm gonna be changing gear after the turn. You need to make sure before the turn, you are in the correct gear. You are allowed to block shift. You can change, like skip gears. That's allowed. Anyway guys, that is for this video. If you enjoyed watching the video, you can give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more driving related videos. Thanks for watching.